Hello everyone, myself Indrajit Pandey. Once again, I am standing before you and I welcome each one of you to my channel NCRT Social Science with Indrajit. Right? Okay. And today we are going to study The Rise of Empires, Chapter 5, Class 7. This will be the fifth part of this chapter. Till fourth part, video I have already uploaded. You can go and check. But see the full video. And today in this video, what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about Ashoka, the king who chose peace. Let's start. We have already discussed all these things, right? And now we have to start from here. Greek accounts already over. The arrival of the Greeks we have studied. Okay, fine. And now the story of Kautilya, mighty Mauryas, all these over. The Kautilya's concept of kingdom we have already studied. Saptang is we have completed. Now, the king who chose peace. Another king of the Maurya dynasty was Asoka. From 268 to 232 BCE, before Common Era. Chandragupta's grandson. Who was he? Asoka was Chandragupta Maurya grandson, right? Who came to be credited with major administrative and religious achievements. So many changes, administrative changes and religious changes he did. At the beginning of his reign, Asoka was quite ambitious. What was his ambition? His ambition was to acquire more and more territory because he was knowing more and more territory, more and more resources, more and more resources, more and more money, more and more money. He can have much more larger military strength and he will be the strongest emperor, right? He had inherited a vast empire but further expanded it to cover almost the entirety of the Indian subcontinent, except for the southernmost region, including present day Bangla and Pakistan. Okay, southernmost region he did not take over much, but he captured the present day Bangladesh and Pakistan also, and some parts of Afghanistan. One encounter, however, is said to have changed the path of his life, and it happens with everyone, right? Some incident, some thoughts, it changes our life. Okay, so same thing happened with Ashoka and it brought a big change in his life. See, what was the change? According to one of the edicts. Now, what is an edict? An official declaration issued by authorities, or in our case a king. Official declaration, right? Okay. In his edicts, he once marched on Kalinga. He mentioned that once he marched to Kalinga. And where is Kalinga? Kalinga is in modern day Odisha. Where he marched? Kalinga. Kaling, right? Odisha. Where he waged a ferocious war. He killed hundreds and thousands of people over there. Seeing the enormous amount of death and destruction on the battlefield, Ashoka chose to give up violence. When he saw, no, in the beginning he was very aggressive, but when he saw that so many deaths, blood everywhere, people died, it changed his mind. It shaked his mind. Okay, and there was a big change at that very moment when he saw that scene. At that very moment, new Ahsoka started to take birth inside him. Ashoka chose to give up violence and to the greatest extent possible adopt the path of peace and non-violence that the Buddha taught. Because of the scene which was created by Asoka. He killed so many people. There were dead bodies everywhere, blood, dead body, and all that. He gave up violence and he chose non-violence. He chose the path of non-violence, peace, the path which was shown by Gautam Buddha. Ashoka, in his edicts, tells the story of Kalinga War. He could have chosen not to mention it and maintain his image as a peaceful, benevolent king for future generations. See, uh, on his edicts, he mentioned that I'm not supposed to write that what how this change happened, but I want to make the people understand. That's why each and everything is mentioned on the edicts. Embracing Buddhist teachings, Asoka sent emissaries to Sri Lanka, Thailand, Central Asia, and beyond to spread the message of the Buddha far and wide. Emissaries, what is the emissary? Someone sent on a special mission. What was the mission? The mission was to spread Dham. To spread Dham, right? Someone sent on a special mission, often of a diplomatic nature. Historians have sometimes called Ashoka a great communicator because he became successful in communicating his subjects, not only his subjects, to the people who were living far and wide area, who were living at distant places, who were living in some other countries. He was a great communicator since he issued in many parts of his empire edicts engraved on rocks and pillars that contained his messages for the people and encouraged them to follow Dharma. Most of these edicts were inscribed in Prakrit. What language? What language was used? What language was used to be written on edicts? It was Prakrit. Prakrit was the common language of the people, which was a popular language in many parts of India and written in Brahmini script. What was the script? Brahmin script. Like Hindi, we have Devanagari script, right? Okay. Brahmi is the mother of all regional scripts of India. Now, see here, we have referred to the Prakrit language written in Brahmi script. What does this mean? Okay, let's move further. Now, in his edicts, what he called himself as Devanam Piyadasi, right? The first word means beloved of the gods. The second one who regards others with kindness. Devanampiya. Okay. Devanampiya, beloved of gods. And Piyadasi, it means kindness. And indeed, the language of the edicts make it clear that he was interested in depicting himself as a benevolent and compassionate ruler. Although some southern kingdoms were not part of the modern kingdom, after that also Ashoka supported their overall well-being. He claimed to provide medical care for the people, for the animals, and all the people to whom that person comes in his territory or not, it doesn't matter, right? Okay. Beyond his, see here, beyond his empire, and he prohibited hunting and cruelty to animals and ordered medical treatment for them when necessary. If so, Ashoka was an early contributor to nature conservation also. He made so many changes when he started to walk on the religious path shown by Gautam Buddha. He was an early contributor to nature conservation and wildlife preservation. It means he started giving safety to the animals. There should be no cruelty to the animals. Okay? He said he had established rest houses and wells at regular intervals along the main roads of the empire so that people can take rest over there. He made rest houses for the people, though for the travelers, for the people, okay, and wells at regular intervals so that people, those who need water, they can take water from there. And got fruit and shade trees planted. He also claimed to encourage all sects Sects means different schools of thoughts of different religion to accept each other's best teachings and study them. Although we need not take all of Asoka's claim literally, it is clear that, in line with Kautilya's philosophy of governance, he paid attention to the welfare. Main his focus was the welfare of his subjects, welfare of the people. There should not be cruelty with the animals. More facilities should be given to the people. Right? Okay. You read about the word dharma. In Prakrit, it is dham. Right? Okay. At deeper level, however, dharma extends to living according to the order of the universe or rhythm, as per the nature, as per the universe. There should be righteous conduct, right behavior, whatever the things it was shown or by Gautam Buddha. Asoka details instruction on the conduct of his officers and mentions ways to ensure that they practice fairness. There, there should not be any wrong with any person in one of his edicts. Okay. And what he has written, all men are my children, and just as I desire for my children that they should obtain welfare and happiness, both in this world and to the next. So let's see here. The Mauryan Empire continued for half a century. Half a century, when we talk about it, is 50 years. 50 years. The Mauryan Empire continued for half a century after Asoka's death. However, his successors were unable to hold the empire together. His successors, they were unable to hold the empire because they were weak. They could not hold that big empire together. Okay, they were very weak, and many of the smaller kingdoms broke off and became independent. Around 185 BCE, what happened? India started on another phase of her journey. What was the journey? Let's see here. Now let's see. Life in the Mauryan period. How was the life of the people during the Mauryan period? Cities like Patliputra were bustling centers of governance and commerce. It means that city, Patliputra, it was developing. They had palaces, public buildings, and well-planned streets. These were the features of Patliputra. This city had palaces, public buildings, and well-planned streets. Well, with a well-organized taxation system and brisk trade, the treasury remained strong, fueling the empire's growth and prosperity. Officials of the administration of the empire, merchants and artisans played a key roles in the city life. Patliputra was bustling. It was developing. It was flourishing. It had big palaces, huge buildings, good infrastructure, trade was carried on, trade and commerce was spreading, okay, and it was fueling the empire's growth and prosperity. The treasury was full, the empire was becoming strong, all these things were happening. Where? Patliputra. So simply you can understand the condition of Patliputra. Shogaura copper plate inscription dating back to the 4th to 3rd century BCE is one of India's earliest known administrative records. Sohgaura, right? Sohgaura. Where is Sohgaura? When we talk about Sohgaura, Sohgaura is in Uttar Pradesh. The Sohgaura copper plate inscription, what is mentioned, date back to 4th to 3rd century BC, is one of India's earliest known administrative records. So in Sohgaura inscription, what is mentioned? Administrative records. Administrative records. It was mentioned over there. It is written in Prakrit, the common language. using the Brahmi script and is believed to have been issued during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya. The inscription mentions the establishment of a granary, to keep grains. At present time also in villages you will see that this type of granary is there and people they used to keep grains here. Okay, it is open and here grains and there will be it will be like this so that grains they can put here the lock means something to stop the grain. They will put the grain here, it is fully filled and they can take grain from here and again they can close it. So inscriptions mention the establishment of a granary to store grain as a precaution against famines. Why granary was set up? It was set up to save the people at the time of drought, at the time of famines, or any type of natural calamities. Now let's talk something about Megasthenes. Megasthenes' account also throws some light on the society of that time. Okay, a substantial proportion of the population was engaged in agriculture, where it is mentioned Megasthenes' account. Megasthenes he has noted down that a substantial portion of the population they were engaged in agriculture, which was an important source of revenue for the empire. From the very beginning, crop production remained the important source of revenue. Two crops were sown in a year as rain fell in both summer and winter. Okay, this ensured that famines were rare and people had ample food. It means people were not facing scarcity of food. Two crops in a year it was grown, so people had ample food for them. Granaries were well stocked for any eventualities. Even if war raged nearby, farmers were protected from it and agriculture was not disturbed. If there was a war also, farmers were protected because grains it was used or the crops were used for everyone, right. So the first priority was to save the farmers. This was the first priority, to save the farmers if there is a war or something like that. The agriculture was not disturbed. Blacksmiths, potters, carpenters, jewelers, and other artisans, they lived in the cities. These were those people who were living in the city, and in any city, okay, these people with these skills, you will see they were present from the very beginning because their skill was needed by the empire or the kingdom whatsoever. The cities were well planned and had signage on the streets. Communication happened through couriers who carried messages from place to place. The houses were made of wood. There were courier system also. Okay, the messengers they used to carry messages, and the houses were made of wood and could be built up to 2 stories. Now you can understand. The streets had vessels of water stored at regular intervals if there is any fire. Okay, so there were vessels like we have fire extinguisher. No, in the same way there were vessels. It was full of water. In case of fire, it can be used. Later accounts describe the cotton dresses people wore, a lower garment that reached below the knee halfway. Cotton was mainly used by the people and they used to wear it halfway till here, down to the ankles, and an upper garment that they threw over their shoulders. There was an upper garment also they used to throw like this. Got it? Okay. Some wore leather shoes with designs and thick soles to make them look taller. Even the shoes were also prevalent. It was in use. See this picture. Figure 5.20 has many messages for us apart from the beauty and perfection of the sculpture. See the beauty of the sculpture. How beautiful it is. I think you all have seen this, right? Okay. And perfection of the sculpture and is a fine example of Mauryan art. This capital, a word which here means top portion or head, was the top of a pillar that Ashoka got erected as Sarnath. Ashoka got it erected at which place? Sarnath, near Varanasi, where the Buddha gave his first teaching. So you can write down Buddha gave his first teaching at Sarnath, and the top portion of this it was erected by Ashoka. The four lions symbolize the royal power. On the ring below, see here, four animals: an elephant, right? A bull, a horse, and one more lion. You can see here, I'm talking about here. Got it? This push. See here. This is the ring, है ना? And this is the bull, elephant, horse, and one more lion is there. Along with the Dharma Chakra or the wheel of Dharma, which symbolizes the Buddha's teachings. See, the Mauryas were renowned for their highly polished stone pillars, as can be seen in this capital of Sarnath pillar. Okay. Some contributions of the Mauryas, life and the people. You can see how beautiful they have made. See, terracotta figurine of a dancing girl. Notice her elaborate headdress, hairstyle, jewelry. Terracotta figurine of a female deity. Okay. See, different. See the pictures. है ना? These are beautiful. No? Okay. Now let's move. Arc and architecture. You can see how beautiful it is made. Great Stupa at Sachi. है ना? Finest example of Indian architecture. Ashoka is said to have constructed many stupas, chaityas, and viharas for worship, study, and meditation. See how beautiful pictures these are. Rock sculpture of a life-size elephant at Dhauli, which is in present-day Odisha. The question may be asked that where is Dhauli? You should know the answer. It is in present-day Odisha near Bhubaneswar, which symbolizes the Buddha, intelligent, powerful, patient, and calm. An edict of Ashoka was engraved on a rock nearby. See this rock sculpture, right? This rock sculpture, you can see it is a picture of a elephant. This rock sculpture of a life-size elephant. It is at Dhauli, and what it symbolizes? It symbolizes four things: intelligent, powerful, patient, and calm. This image may be familiar to some of you. Indeed, this capital was chosen as India's national emblem, to which was added the Sanskrit motto Satyamev Jayate, which is taken from Mundak Upanishad. Mundak Upanishad. Okay, it is not mentioned here, I think. Yes, it is here. To which was added. Okay, see the national emblem on the left. Beside the Dharma Chakra is depicted at the center of our national flag. See here. The motto comes from the Mundak Upanishad. In full, it reads Satyamev Jayate Nanritam. That is, truth alone triumphs, not falsehood. Different types of symbols on the coins. A hoard of Mauryan Panchmad coins, okay, of Ashoka. See, a big round hemispherical. What is hemispherical? Half. Spherical means full round. Hemispherical, half it is. Okay, it is hemispherical. A big round hemispherical structure in the center of the stupa is called, and it represents the universe and is often built to house sacred relics. People walk around it. They walk around it in a circle as a form of worship. Generally we call it pradikshina. During present time also people do pradikshina, right? Whenever you will visit temples or such type of religious place, you will see that people, they do pradikshina, right? The fragile nature of empires. You will hear in higher grades about past mighty empires elsewhere in the world, such as the Roman, the Persian, the Ottoman, the Spanish, the Russian, the British empires, and so on. All of them are long gone. All these empires, they were vast empires, and all have gone, but historians, they keep debating causes of their decline. That what was the reason these empires were uh, big empires. Empire is already it has vast meaning. Okay, so many small kingdoms together is called an empire. These were the vast empires, but what was the reason of their declination? Historians till date they are discussing these things. Now, some of the things we can see here. One of those causes, as we saw, is the temptation for some of the empire's region to try and become independent. When some of the regions, empire's region, they try to become independent, this could happen if, for example, the emperor needed more resources for long military campaigns or in times of drought. Local rulers should be burdened with increasing demands. When empire they try to capture more and more territory, okay, then what will happen? They need money and they will overburden. From where they will get the money? They will overburden the people to collect you overburden the people to collect the taxes. And these things it created. This type of people know people they become disappointed, they disheartened because the ruler they has increased the taxes for his own benefit only to acquire more and more territory. He needs money, so he has imposed the taxes. Or if a powerful emperor was followed by one perceived to be a weak, long kings of chieftains might simply it is it there something? Okay, not that much. Okay, so that's all. So whatever the important things, everything we have gone through. So my dear children, just go through the full video. You'll understand so many things. If you have liked my video, please subscribe, share it to others, put some comments, raise questions. I would be happy to give you the answer. Thank you.